This is the 2023 Jeep Grand Cherokee L, and it's a little bit more than your standard mile cruising, drop the kids off at soccer practice SUV. In fact, it's no glorified minivan. Instead, it offers real off-road ability, go anywhere and go over anything capabilities. And if you're a true adventurer at heart and are looking to explore uncharted territory, then one of these has got your name on it. Today I'm going to test it both on and off-road, see how it does. So adding an L to the Jeep Grand Cherokee adds a third row, or if you want it, much more cargo space. We'll take a look at that in a little bit. But first, it's instantly recognizable as a Jeep, only a little bit longer. So it's unmistakably a Jeep from the front. It's got the 7 teeth in the grille, a couple of nice looking hooks right here. This is a 4x4 Overland model, so it probably will need those. So you get these 20-inch wheels. They're 295/50s, wearing these Bridgestone tires all around. So at the back, styling is pretty cool. Obviously typical Jeep, got the big Jeep logo in the middle, Overland over there, and then 4x4 on this side. And then in the bumper, they've embedded the exhaust tips. So standard on the Overland is a hands-free tailgate, revealing, here's the third row, you get about 17.6 cubic feet of space behind this third row. You also get this additional storage right here. Got your jack and other tools in there. It's a nice little area, and there's a drain plug in case you spill your beer. Dropping the rear seats is a cinch. Just hit these 2 buttons here. Headrests go down. That then reveals 46 and a bit cubic feet of space. Now you can obviously put the 2 captain chairs down as well. 2 buttons on the side here, and they go down fairly violently. Keep small children's hands away when that happens. Now this will then give you about 87 cubic feet of space. Now you have to put those 2 back up manually, like that, and like that. The 2 back ones are a touch of a button, and they rise up. And once they get back to the top again, you can simply move those 2 up. I do like the way that Jeep puts the button right here, although everybody that I know tries to open this, reaches up to the tailgate to do it. Really handy for people that are a little bit vertically challenged. Over here next to these switches, you get 12-volt DC power. So what's new for 2023? Well, you get the Uconnect 5 system with a 10.1 digital touchscreen on all models above a Limited. You also get a 9-speaker stereo system, which is on the Limited model and above. Now this one's an Overland, so it has that as standard. There's an available option of a 19-speaker system for the Overland and also the Summit and Summit Reserve models. So under the hood you get the naturally aspirated V6. It's the Pentastar engine. It's been around for quite some time. It's driven through an excellent 8-speed automatic transmission. There is one other alternative, and you can get the V8. That's got 357 horsepower, 390 foot-pounds of torque, but you will be using a whole lot more gas. So this one will tow 6,200 pounds. The V8 will pull 7,200 pounds. This V6 will get from 0 to 60 in about 7.8 seconds. It is a little bit heavier than the non-L version, which is why it's a little bit more sluggish. I kind of wish that Jeep would put the Hurricane engine in this car, and that would make it perfect. So this car has Quadro Track too, so it uses an electronically controlled clutch system to send 48% of the power to the front, 52% of the power to the rear, but it can alter that ratio using various different sensors and send up to 100% to the front or to the rear axle. It also uses an open differential and a brake-based traction control system. So this one comes with a whole host of off-road modes that you can select inside the vehicle. I'll kind of show you how that works a little bit later. But basically they shift the transfer case, adjust the air suspension height, and remap the engine to adjust to whatever terrain that you are on. So speaking of the air suspension, this will adjust it up to about 10.9 inches, which is a lot of clearance. And then if you wish to ford any body of water, river, stream, etc., it'll do it up to 24 inches. So how much is this Overland 4x4? Well, $61,195 gets you this car, and there are 0 options on it, which is unusual for these testers. So that takes you around 63 when you factor in destination. So it's not too bad in the back. There's a scalloped area for your head here, and it's easy to get in and out. Captain's chairs you can walk through. My legs are sort of stuck in the air. There's only room for 2 back here. You get a cup holder. You also get a fast and a slow USB and your own vents. It's not too bad, but not somewhere where I want to spend a whole lot of time. Kids only in the back. So not too bad in the second row. You can move the seats fore and aft. There's an armrest on both sides, leather covered, pretty comfortable. You can also move the seat back for a little bit of recline if you want. A little bit of room here in the front. You get vents in the center console and controls in the center console, as well as 115 volt. Also 2 USBs, slow and fast, and then vents are here in that pillar. So onto the front, seats are heated and cooled at the front. They're also heated at the back. You get this enormous sunroof, very comfortable seat, nice wheel, material quality is pretty good. There is some harder, scratchy plastics in places, but all in all, it's pretty nice. So there is a mind-boggling amount of tech in this car, and obviously front and center is this incredible touchscreen. Now, if you do have a phobia of touchscreens, there are some physical buttons along the top, and physical HVAC controls, and a physical volume, and a physical tune button to help you out with that particular problem. So this uses Uconnect 5, still one of the best systems. It's been a little glitchy at times, but still by far one of the best. Media, it's easy to connect your phone, comfort, or your AC controls, but they are duplicated down here along with your cooled and heated seat controls, a heated steering wheel, and then you can just turn the screen off. Now down here, hidden by this little door here, you've got 2 USBs, 2 fast USBs, and then a DC 12 volt. Now, one of the things that kind of annoys me about this car is there is no phone charger. That is part of the whatever technology package, and it wasn't checked on this particular car. So there's a couple of things that I don't like about this section. First of all, it's got piano black on it. Secondly, this little silver top right here, when the sun catches it, you're virtually blinded. It needs to be a darker color. And the other thing is I don't like the rotary knob in general for selecting different ratios on the transmission. Up here though, it is more of my favorite. You've got rock, sand, mud, snow, auto, and sport. As you toggle through these, if you raise it up to sand and mud, on the right hand side you'll see lights flashing, and the air suspension is bringing the nose and the back of the vehicle up. You've also got 4-wheel drive low. We utilize that a little bit later on in the video when you go off-road. And it's got a really, really good hill descent control system that doesn't clatter around like Toyota's system does. Further up front, you've got a nice little cup holder, although it won't hold the biggest cups, but oh well. And then if you don't have a cup, you can use this little cover here with more shiny piano black on it. Center console has 2 sections. You've got a nice little thing right here for small items, and then open it up and you've got a fairly deep space. Head of the driver, you've got a digital dash with your revs on the left hand side, speed in the middle. You can play around with this and you can change things like adaptive cruise control, active lane management. You can scroll through, you can see, well, 14.4. Not getting the best mileage from this car, but that's kind of what I expected. It's a underpowered engine pulling too much along. And then this is where your ground clearance is. Currently I'm in sand and mud mode, but if we move the switch back to auto, that will lower the vehicle and eventually put it back lower. Now when you have it in auto and you exceed a certain speed, it does lower it down to aero mode, creating less of a brick-like silhouette with this car. And now you can see that it is lowering the vehicle. There's a little thing there that says lowering, and it says lowering as well. You can also go through some of this off-road stuff here with a toggle on the wheel. Cool stuff. And then you've got music playing, no messages, and then back to your digital speedo in the middle. It's pretty slick, both the infotainment and the driver information ahead of the driver. I really like it. All right, let's take it for a drive. So we're going to do an on-road test not gonna go crazy, you're gonna leave it in auto. I've tried sport and it's just doesn't really do much. It makes it rev more, worse fuel economy. It really doesn't make it go any faster. So I would leave it in auto if I were you and just waft along on this air suspension. We will test, once we get off road, 4-wheel drive low, hill descent. We'll see how well it goes in probably sand and mud and rock is where we're going because it's not particularly wet. Anyway, let's get going. All right, so this air suspension that Jeep has been massively improved over the years. I remember I drove one like 5 years ago, and in its highest form, it almost removed all my teeth. It was just so bouncy. This system is much, much better. All right, so stick your foot down. The V6 is not the quietest engine in town. It definitely makes itself heard, but it's not bad. Now, we're going over 60 miles an hour, so aerodynamic ride height has been achieved. It's dropped it to the lowest setting that you can use for driving. There's one more setting below that. I believe that's just easy access for people that can't make a big step up. I do like this 6 engine. The biggest problem that it has in this car is it just doesn't have enough power or torque, or whichever one you want to choose. You know, 260 foot-pounds in a car that's obviously bigger than a standard Cherokee, or rather Grand Cherokee, it's just not going to cut it. But what saves this car is this 8-speed auto. It seems to be able to recover from any imperfections that the engine has, i.e. lack of torque, and it just drops down and yeah, the thing revs a little bit, it makes a bit more noise, but it's instant. And so thank goodness for that 8-speed automatic. So my thing is, Jeep, put the Hurricane engine in. It doesn't need to be the 510 horsepower one that goes in the Grand Wagoneer. Give it a detuned version, but it needs 300 plus foot-pounds of torque in order for it to go. I mean, 7.8 seconds to 60 is not bad, but it certainly could be better. And I feel like the chassis is pretty good at controlling this car. Yes, it rolls in the corners, but it's not too bad. You can probably hear the noise of the engine. It's a little bit loud. It's not as relaxed as I would like. Now, I did drive a Grand Cherokee with the V8, and you know, based on the fact that I'm getting pretty lousy gas mileage anyway, I would probably go for the 5.7 liter V8 because it's got 390 foot-pounds of torque, and that for me is definitely adequate for this car. You don't feel a whole lot through this quite large steering wheel. I'm not quite sure why it's very large, nicely covered in leather, but it's quite a large wheel. Not a lot of feedback, and obviously it goes into very safe understeer if you plow on too quickly. Just got to remember that you are driving a fairly large vehicle, and it's not a sports car. But it's cutting through these twisty bits on the way to the off-road bit quite nicely, so I can't really complain. All I can say is it's definitely not slow. I'm not thinking, oh god, you know, I'm desperate for more power. I think it would be on my nice to have list. Now, brakes, they work really well, which is good, but there's a weirdness to the pedal feel that I'm not 100% sure about. Just, I don't know. It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of slightly difficult. There's a lot of pressure to push the pedal down, and then you get a little bit of braking, and then you get a lot all of a sudden. Now it has paddle shifters. I'm absolutely not sure why it has paddle shifters. I just accidentally hit one and went into manual mode and had to hold it down to get back out again. A car like this does not need paddle shifters, but I think it's something that, you know, for whatever reason people expect it. They get on a car that's $62,000, no matter what it is, and they're like, what are my paddle shifters? You know, not that they ever use them anyway. All right, so this is the truck trail that's going to take us to the slightly more technical stuff. I'm going to leave it in auto. There's no need. It's a typical sort of DG road, kind of dusty road. It gets a little bit bumpier further on, but I'm on level 3 ride height, so this is going to be enough. So first impressions on this non-paved road, pretty comfortable. Smooth progress is being made. Now there's a few little bit of a washboard surface here, making quite a lot of noise, but I'm very comfortable. All right, so we've hit the slightly bumpier trail, a few more rocks on it. Still going to leave it in auto, it doesn't need to be in any other mode. Same ride height. Right, so here we are on the off-road section. It's pretty rocky. We'll change the settings to rock mode, and the suspension's looking pretty high right now. Let's get going. So this is a little bit of a tougher hill. Big ruts here, we don't want to fall into that rut. Piece of cake. Of course it was. It's a Jeep on street tires. You want to try the hill descent control? Take it slow. Okay, come towards me. You're going to hop off that rock there. All right. Wheels that way. Slow. Slow. Okay, turn this way. So what do we think? Well, if you need a very capable family rig, this is like the Swiss Army knives of cars. It'll do pretty much anything. There are some downsides. The V6 is definitely underpowered, and top trims can get really, really pricey. But if you're looking for an adventure with your family with go anywhere capabilities, this is a great car. Once again, thanks for watching. We appreciate it. Like, subscribe, and we'll catch you next time with another video. Out.